Good day, everyone. I'm Kojay alongside with my group members Woon Minro, Tae Kai Wei, Tan Jingwen, and Lo Yin. We're students from Biomedical Signal Processing Section 1. Today, we are going to present our group assignment with the title Comparative Analysis for EMG Signal Processing Techniques within Time Frequency Analysis Methods under the guidance of Dr. Sidi Balkis. This is the members of our group. This is the timeline for our discussion today, starting with introduction, data acquisition and signal processing, STFT analysis, wavelet analysis, and comparison between them. Without further ado, let's start with introduction. Electromyography is a diagnostic and analytical technique that records and evaluates the electrical activity generated by muscles during contractions and rest. EMG signals are produced by the firing of motor units within the muscle and are essential for understanding neuromuscular physiology. These signals are widely used in biomedical engineering to assess muscle function, detect abnormalities, and design assistive technologies such as prosthetics and rehabilitation devices. The physiological relevance of EMG lies in its ability to provide insights into muscle activation patterns, neuromuscular disorders, and fatigue levels. EMG is utilized for diagnosing conditions in clinical applications. Beyond clinical applications, EMG signals play a critical role in biomechanics, sports science, and human-computer interactions, including the development of gesture control devices and exoskeletons. To analyze EMG signals effectively, advanced signal processing techniques are required to address their complex, non-stationary nature. Time frequency analysis is a signal processing technique used to analyze how the frequency content of a signal changes over time, unlike the traditional Fourier transform which provides only frequency information. This makes them suitable for non-stationary EMG signals whose spectral characteristics vary over time. The common methods for time frequency analysis including STFT and wavelet transform. STFT divides the signal into smaller time windows and applies the Fourier transform to each segment, enabling a combined time frequency analysis. It provides a spectrogram, which is a visual representation of signal energy as a function of time and frequency. Second, it identifies the frequency components present in short time intervals. Third, it detects short-lived or abrupt changes in the signal's frequency content. Lastly, it is used for signal classifications and processing for EMG signals. Regarding wavelet transform, it is the opposite as STFT. It analyzes the signal at different resolutions, making it highly adaptable to signals with varying characteristics. It is used to analyze non-stationary signals with both transient and sustained components, identifies events occurring at different time and frequency scales, and decomposes the signal into its constituent patterns for detailed analysis. It has two types of transform. First one is continuous wavelet transform, and second is discrete wavelet transform. The CWT provides a detailed analysis at every scale but is computationally expensive, while DWT is an efficient method using specific discrete scales and positions.
Our data was taken from the Mendeley data. Total subject is 40. We only target in subject 1. Total channel used for the surface EMG is 4 and the sampling rate is at 2 kHz with 10 unique gesture and 5 cycle of repetition for this 10 gesture. The device used to record the EMG is BioPack MP36 device. To prepare the data for analysis, we apply the DC offset filter to set the baseline at 0 volt, and we go for a 6 order of Butterworth 5 to 500 Hz bandpass filter to allow specific frequencies to pass, and then we proceed with a second order 50 Hz notch filter to remove motion artifacts, high frequency noise, and power line interface. So these are the diagram of the signal pre-processing.
The time frequency analysis used in this study is the short time Fourier transform (STFT) analysis. It is a mathematical tool used to analyze non-stationary signals, which is particularly useful for signal like EMG that is time varying. STFT divides the signal into overlapping segments or windows of a fixed length. Each segment is treated as a stationary signal for the duration of the window. Then, Fourier transform is applied to each window segment, converting it from the time domain to the frequency domain, and this produces the frequency components for the specific time segment. In this study, a window size of 512 samples, or about 0.256 seconds, is used to balance time and frequency resolution. A 50% overlap is used to ensure smooth transition between segments. A Hamming window was applied to reduce spectral leakage, which minimized artificial frequency caused by the sharp edge in the windows. The evaluation of the processed signal include total power, which is the total energy of the signal across all frequency strength rates, which indicates where the energy is concentrated in the frequency spectrum, spectral entropy, a measure of signal complexity or randomness, time resolution or peak width, capture how well we can track short-term change in activity, signal-to-noise ratio (SNR) quantifies the quality of the signal relative to background noise, and lastly, spectrogram, which is the visual representation of the spectrum of frequencies of a signal as it varies with time. The diagram shows the spectrograms of all the four channels EMG. The x-axis represents time in seconds, while the y-axis represents frequency in hertz, and the color intensity shows the power. Note that most of the energy is concentrated below 200 Hz, which is aligned with typical EMG frequency range. There are prominent frequency bands around 100 Hz, which is expected for muscle activity. The spectrogram shows variations in power over time. This could indicate intermittent muscle contraction or changes in the signal. This table shows the matrix of the processed EMG signal from channel 1 until channel 4. We found that the total power ranged between 90 to 1000 microvolt square, while the average frequency in the signal is between 97 and 132 Hz, which is within the expected range for EMG signal. High value of spectral entropy between 4.89 and 5.43 indicates the amount of unpredictable frequency and complex muscle activity. The time resolution values were between 0.41 and 0.51 seconds, suggesting reasonable activity bursts during muscle contractions. The SNR ranged from 11 to 12 dB, indicating the level of noise present in the signal relative to the actual muscle activity. The time to process all channels are approximately 33 seconds, while the analysis also consumed about 900 megabytes of memory.
The wavelet analysis allows us to break a signal or dataset into smaller, localized components across different scale or resolutions. It is particularly useful for identifying the patterns, trends, and anomalies, especially in non-stationary data, where the properties change over time. For the wavelet transform, we use the complex Morley wavelet with a scale range of 1 to 64 and a sampling rate of 2000 Hz. The signal was pre-processed by removing the linear trends, and we applied the time downsampling to enhance the computational efficiency. On the output side, we have two main categories. First, the visualization includes the time domain plots showing the signal amplitude over time, and spectrogram like wavelet transform plots that reveal the time frequency decomposition. Second, we compute key metrics such as the total power, frequency centroid, spectral entropy, and signal-to-noise ratio, along with the processing time and memory usage. Here is the wavelet transform for all four channels. The x-axis represents time, the y-axis is frequency, and the color intensity shows amplitude. These spectrogram-like visualizations reveal how the signal's frequency content evolves over time. For example, in channel 1, there are consistent high amplitude frequency bands around 10 to 100 Hz, while channel 4 shows more sporadic and lower intensity activity. Such visualizations are valuable for detecting the transient patterns and understanding the signal behavior in different frequency range. Here is the matrix for the wavelet transform. The total power, frequency central, and spectral entropy highlights the energy, central frequency, and complexity of the signal. The channel 4 has the lowest total power and frequency centroid at 102 Hz, reflecting the weaker and higher frequency activity compared to other channels. The signal-to-noise ratio is negative for all channels, indicating noise-dominant signals, which is common in noisy datasets like EMG. The processing time was approximately 222 seconds, with memory usage of 912 MB, highlighting the computational cost of this analysis.
Now I'm going to explain about the result comparison between the SDFT analysis and the wavelet analysis shown by my members just now. SDFT analysis is visualized as a spectrogram where the x-axis represents time, y-axis represents frequency, and the color or intensity represents the signal amplitudes or power. The resolution of the SDFT result is uniform because of the window size is fixed. As a result, the time resolution is constant, where it is determined by the chosen window length, while the frequency resolution of this analysis is constant as well, but it is inversely proportional to the time resolution. Hence, smooth transitions and steady-state components of the signals are captured well in this analysis. Then, about the wavelet analysis result, the wavelet analysis result is visualized as a skelogram, where x-axis represents time, y-axis represents skew or the frequency in pseudo terms, while the color or intensity represents the amplitude of the wavelet coefficients. The resolutions of this analysis varies adaptively, where the high time resolution for high frequency components and high frequency resolution for low frequency components. And this wavelet analysis is better at detecting transient events like sudden spikes or frequency shift. After that, let's talk about the strength and weaknesses between these two analyses. The strength of SDFT analysis is it provides a time frequency representation of a signal, and it is simple and computational efficient. It's also suitable for signal with relatively stationary frequency components within each time window, and it is also easy to be implemented. But the limitation of this analysis is in fixed resolutions in both time and frequency due to the fixed window size, and it is struggle to analyze signals with rapidly changing frequency components. In the selection of the window size involving the trade-off, which is the larger window offer a better frequency resolution but poorer time resolution, while in the smaller window will improve the time resolution but degrade in frequency resolutions. While for the wavelet analysis, its strength is it will provide a multi-resolution analysis, which it will offer a high time resolution for high frequency components and high frequency resolution for low frequency components. It is suitable for analyzing in non-stationary signals with transient changes, and it allows for more flexible or localized analysis due to scalable wavelet functions. But it still got the limitation where it is computationally more complex than SDFT analysis, and the choice of the wavelet function and skills can significantly affect the result, which this require expertise to modify it, and it provides less intuitive results compared to SDFT analysis for some users familiar with traditional frequency analysis. In a nutshell, comparing the SDFT and wavelet transform, we can clearly see that a clear trade-off. SDFT analysis provides a straightforward method for analyzing QC stationary signals, but it is struggle with dynamic features. In contrast, wavelet analysis excels in capturing non-stationary details. For application requiring detailed insights, we will recommend wavelet analysis as the preferred technique.
This is the reference throughout our studies. And that's all from our group. Thank you.